let's go. Let's get started, guys. Thank you for being on the call tonight. See all the leadership out there that's jumping on, and even if you don't have a team yet, that still makes you a leader because you're actually on the call. So this is leadership training, and looking forward to getting some information in your hands. Guys, just FYI, this is why you marry up. You marry a smart, intelligent woman. That way, when things like this happen, she can dig up information and really get it out there. And this is what Rose has done. She's gone through this and really taking some of the stuff that we do, and she's making it duplicatable. That was us last week.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome. Thank you, Mar. You got me, brother. You got me. So anyway, guys, getting back on track here. Looking forward to getting some information out to you guys. We're looking at what's going to be duplicatable. What can people see? What can you do to leverage your time, to leverage your efforts and grow a team? And that's going to be huge. So with that being said, I get to turn it over to my beautiful queen, Ms.
Well, thank you, Mr. Thomas, for letting us speak this evening and sharing. I know it just the fact of who you are, people respect you highly, and there's a reason for that, because, you put yourself out there, you make yourself so available to everyone. We greatly appreciate that. And we certainly don't ever want to take that for granted. And, if we can just pay it forward to our team, the little bit and just a teeny bit from what you do for us, we would be blessed, honestly. So tonight I'm going to talk about leveraging your time and effort as a leader. Okay. So that's going to be kind of the theme of tonight. You know me, I'm a tools person. I like learning things and tools, whether, all these different things you guys know from my previous calls, that I'm always looking into technology and things like that. So one of the things I'm going to talk about tonight is YouTube. And I heard a very successful speaker, who's a network marketer, and he said that if you have to repeat yourself, that you're not, the idea is to have both, not just financial freedom, but time freedom. Can we agree? So having time freedom means not repeating yourself over and over. And as your team grows, so my question is for those people out there, does anybody of you guys have a team member now, or are you hoping to build a team if you don't have anybody in your team? I think that's everybody, right? We want to build a team. So if that's the case, we've been in this business some time now. What I found through the years is I repeat myself a lot. I repeat myself, like I'm saying questions, right? Sometimes we do the same thing with the objections, right? Repeat yourself. But with team members, I said, what if there was a way, and this is what the gentleman had said, is that anything that you have to repeat yourself, you should have a YouTube on. You should have a video on it. And so I just recently, I've been wanting to do this for the longest time. So this training, thank you, Mr. Thomas, it motivated me to do this. And I actually started this, I've already started a YouTube channel, but I've actually added some additional videos, and I'm going to keep adding further and further. So there's 2 videos that I created so far. One of them is going to be the Zoom Energy, and the other one's going to be IDSIL. I know we have tons of training out there through the back office, but I wanted to gear, like, for example, IDSIL or Zoom more to our area, because there are certain things that are not specific to our area, like in the PG&E market, SoCal, it's not very specific. There's questions that maybe they don't always cover in the training. So, and these are the questions that I get from my team sometimes. And so I created 2 videos. So I'm going to actually share my screen. And so even though you might not be in the marketplace for whether it's energy, whatever it is, maybe it's a different utility market, maybe you don't have energy, I hope that when you watch this, that you could take some information away and be like, you know what, I can do this with this service. I can do this with this product, whatever it is in your marketplace, and maybe use some of these resources based on what I created. So here, let me do this actually. Go stop share and then make sure I do my share screen, optimize sound, and then share. All right. So do you guys see my, you see this right here? Let me see. Can you, okay. So hopefully you guys can see. If you can't see, just speak up, somebody. Okay, so this is my YouTube channel. So I'm gonna pull up real quick, this is a Zoom short training. I'm going to play this. It's only about 11 minutes. Again, I know a lot of this information is going to be basic to a lot of you guys, but the idea again is take from it as like, maybe hopefully this will spur something in you to create a video of your own. So I'm going to play this real quick. And this is what I created for my team. Let's talk about the deregulation of energy, specifically PG&E Market SoCal. Okay, so have you ever heard about the deregulation of energy? I know a lot of people haven't heard, and that's a question I get from a lot of people whenever I talk to them. So what is deregulation anyway? So the definition of deregulation is the removal of regulations or restrictions, especially in a particular industry. What does that mean? It gives us choices. That's a good thing. So choices allow for competitive pricing, lock-in rates, various choices, ability to be proactive with your energy choice, and the choice is always good. So let me tell you essentially how I explain it to people. I tell people there's two parts of your natural gas bill. The first is the commodity, which is the procurement, the actual gas itself. The second part is the transferring, the manning the lines, and those two charges are lumped together. Deregulation allowed for the procurement or the gas to give other companies to come out and basically offer competitive rates. That's where Zoom comes in, okay? So I tell people that PG&E will always charge for manning the lines and transferring the gas to your home. Unfortunately, you will always have to pay PG&E for that because it would be impossible for any company like Zoom or any of these other companies to come in and dig new trenches and so forth just to be able to add the pipes and all that. It just wouldn't make sense. So what the point of the matter is the commodity or the gas is the part where they now have a choice to be able to lock in and be able to have some consistency with the terms that they're paying for every single month. So they will see two charges on their bill. They are not being double charged. They just now see the two charges separated. So you might want to let customers know that. So where to look for information on PG&E gas section of the customer's bill? Here it's all laid out. And you're going to need 3 bits of information. First of all, the service agreement ID number is going to be located at the top left-hand side, okay? The account number is always at the top page of each of the energy statement bill. You don't need to put the dash, you just put the number. So instead of dash, like say if this is -3, just put 3. The meter number is going to be the top right-hand side. And if you want to know what the procurement or the gas charge is each month that PG&E charges, it will be located right there where it's circled, PG&E's gas rates each month. As you can see, PG&E varies every single month. It fluctuates based on supply and demand. We do not know what the rate's going to be the next month or the next month. We know what it is the current month. So if people ask, well, do you know what that's going to be? I tell them, no, absolutely not. It's going to depend on supply and demand. However, at least with Zoom, you know what the rate's going to be for the next 12, 24 months if you lock in. You have some form of stability. So now, are there any other fees? Yes, depending on the plan, you will have either $2.99 or $6.99 administrative fee charged monthly. So if you're looking at California, let's see, PG&E markets, for residential, it's going to be the standard is like $2.99. If you do the eco or the carbon free, it's $6.99. Now you can find that in the details. I don't recommend usually the eco or the carbon free because of that $6.99 administrative fee is a little higher. I know commercial, it's $4.99. So, you know, depending on if it's residential or commercial. So now, I do tell them that, yes, there is that fee. However, PG&E also has fees associated. So just so you know, okay? Now, what if a customer wants to cancel? If a customer signs up for the 12 or the 24 month, there is a cancellation fee. Again, that cancellation fee is outlined. And why I tell them there is because Zoom is buying your gas in bulk with the intent that you're going to be a customer for the next 12 or 24 months. So if you decide to cancel within a few months, Zoom has acquired all this gas on your behalf. So it makes sense that there's going to be some form of cancellation fee because of that. Now, will the customer get a separate bill? Not in the PG&E markets. They will continue to get one bill from PG&E with the commodity Zoom and then the transportation lined out on their bill. So again, they will see 2 charges. One from PG&E charging for the gas, which is just the transportation. And now they will see a portion with the commodity from Zoom with what they're paying per therm at whatever rate they lock in at, okay? Now, where to look for information on the SoCal gas section of a customer's bill. There's 2 bits of information for SoCal. The account number is going to be at the top portion of the bill, and then the meter number is going to be towards the middle section on the left-hand side. Now, where do you see the gas commodity rates? That's going to be towards the bottom portion of the bill. As you can see, it again, same thing like PG&E, it fluctuates month to month based on supply and demand. Will the customer get a separate bill for SoCal and SDG&E? Yes, they will. Okay, so let them know that. They will get a separate bill from Zoom for the commodity, and they will still get a bill from the gas provider for the transportation. Now, can the customer opt for paperless billing? Some people don't want another bill, another paper bill. So just tell them, yes, you know what, actually, when we're signing you up towards the end, you will have the option to go paperless. And if they decide to not do it, then you can say, you can always go to my Zoom account and go ahead and choose that, or contact Zoom and do that later on if you choose to do that as well. So that way they have less paperwork. How to know if a customer is already with another energy provider? That is super important because we see that many times happen. So if you see the amount due page, it will have it right below the PG&E gas delivery charges. So as you can see, there's another company there listed, and that's how you're going to know. And if that's the case, obviously we cannot sign them up for Zoom. We have to have them cancel first. Now, we have to find out if they're in contract, things like that. So what if somebody says, you know what I do when that happens, I find out if they're in a great rate with the company or not. And there's been times where I figured it out and they actually had a really good deal with whoever they signed up with. And I said, you know what, you're great where you are, stay where you're at. But I've also seen other times where they are overpaying. And I tell them, man, if you were with us, you would have saved, $60 or, $40 or whatever it is. And so what if they want to switch over to you? Now, if they want to cancel with a third-party gas procurement provider and come with you, here's where you find it. It's going to be almost the last page on the energy statement, and it's right there. Actually, Zoom will have a page very similar to this once they get connected with Zoom, and it'll have the name of the third-party company as well as the phone number. There you go. So they would have to call and find out if they're in contract, and if they're not in contract, they can cancel. And it usually takes about 30 or so days, okay? Now, sometimes I still sign somebody up about 2 weeks later and it'll go through because it takes a little while for everything to catch up anyway. What if someone has solar? Can they still be my gas customer? Yes, they can. However, let me explain as briefly as I possibly can. So what we need to find out with solar is the true up date on the customer's bill. Okay, so what happens when somebody gets solar, once they get in solar, a year later, they will get a final bill to see if they have a balance. Because a lot of times they will, during summertime when the sun's out, they will produce a lot more electricity, and sometimes there's a credit there. Okay, so the goal is to find out when the true up date is. So you would look at the summary of your NEM year-to-date charges for the customer, find out when that true up date is. It will be indicated there. And what you want to look at is the following month. Okay, so every November is when this particular customer's true up date is going to come due. And that will tell the next month I need to look at. And so in November it shows, so December, I need to look at that to see, do they owe PG&E or does PG&E owe them? So we would basically look, so if you look at December, you see there's a 4509. There is not a credit. If there was a credit, it would say negative 4509, meaning that there's a PG&E owes them. Okay, so if that's the case, what happens, unfortunately, when there is a credit the following month, PG&E will only pay for PG&E charges. So for example, the transportation, that portion of the bill they will pay for, but say if there's a third party like Zoom, PG&E will not reimburse Zoom what the credit that they have for that member. So what happens sometimes is a member will go to collections, and we certainly don't want that. So that is so important. Look at the day of the true up, whatever that is, look at the following month and look at that detail to see if there's a negative. If there's a negative, that's probably not a good idea. They're a customer. If it's a positive, there's nothing there as far as PG&E owing the customer back, then they can be our customer. So something to keep in mind. I know it could be a bit confusing. If you have any further questions, definitely reach out and then I can explain that further to you. Okay. So now finally see the Google Doc and YouTube videos in the notes there. As you can see in red, that's where you want to look on the YouTube channel for additional information like the Zoom Energy service information. It's just kind of like notes, the Zoom Energy dependable. Basically what that is Zoom deregulation explained, that you can send that YouTube to customers. So if you say, you know, let me send this to you so you have a better understanding, as well as a Zoom Extra YouTube that I created, because they do qualify. When somebody becomes a Zoom customer, they can get the extras, they can get the Zoom Energy rewards. So there's some videos on there you can send to the customer so they could take advantage of all these rewards and discounts on coupons and so forth, as well as a Zoom lock-in. So say if somebody was with a variable a month to month and you want them to lock in after the 2-month promo, there is a video I created that's on YouTube that you can send that to them, and it'll walk them through step by step how to do that. So as always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, all right. So let's go make this.
You got the rings?
All right, so let me do this. All right, so what I want to point out down here is, let me go back, let me show you that YouTube, go back to that YouTube that I had, because I want to show you what I was talking about when I was referencing the notes. It's going to be your videos. So right here, and maybe what I'll do is I'll put in the link, but this is the Zoom short training that we were watching right now. So we were here, and this is what I was talking about, pause it, or so it doesn't keep going. Okay, so let me just show you. Let's talk about the dereg right here, where it says Zoom Energy Services. This is all the information I attached. So I included right here, this is a doc. I'm going to show you guys how to do this. I learned how to add docs in here. So for example, if I click on this, this takes you to a Google Doc. So these are my notes that I previously had for Zoom Energy. So anybody, like one of my, somebody on the team, I say, hey, go reference that, go look at this. They have access to all my notes, okay? Then, for example, right here, go back. Let me go back to where I was at. So the YouTube, let's talk about the deregulation of energy. Because right here, all the YouTubes are on here. So now if I click on the YouTube, it's going to get rid of this one and it's going to take me to the other YouTubes. But for example, deregulation explained, let me just go copy link, and then I'll open a new tab so you can see what I'm talking about. How do I get rid of that? Let me try to move this real quick. Paste and go. Okay, so this is the one from
dependable energy, clean energy, positive energy.
So this is great to send to somebody to learn about deregulation. That way you don't necessarily have to explain it too much. I still explain it, but I send this to them as well. Okay, so all that, going back to my YouTube channel and here where I was at, all these right here, you guys have access to, okay? So, and I think this one is public. I'm pretty sure this one's a public. Some of this stuff isn't public. Some of them are kind of private, but if you have the link, you can go into it as long as you have the link. So it's Zoom short training 301. You have access to, okay? So, and then you'll have access to all this document. So let me show you how to make a document just real quick here. If you guys have a Gmail, so you from your Gmail, go into right here, those little Google apps. And you guys might know this already, but I just learned this, so I'm always excited to share. So go into where it says doc right here, click on the doc. And then you just go into the blank, go ahead and create whatever, copy, paste the whatever, let's just, whatever it is, we'll just say test 101, 1, 2, 3, let's just say, okay. So from here, I wanna go ahead and share, name whatever it is, how you wanna name it. And then you're going to go save. And then from here, you have to take the restriction off. So where it says restricted, go ahead and say anyone with the link. Okay. And then you copy the link. So now you have the link. You could put it on, you know, it's right now, all I have to do is paste it wherever I want. And then you're done. Paste it to the YouTube channel or take whatever it is that you're sending it to. So this way somebody can go and have access to your notes. Okay. So I wanted to share that because I actually have that too for, I also created another video for IDSIL Let's see. And now the ID still is going to be super short as well. This one's shorter. It's only 5 minutes because I'm not spending a whole bunch of. So let's talk about IDSIL and IDSIL Protect. So why protect yourself with identity theft protection? That is the question. So let's talk about that right now. So do you recognize any of these big names on here? Maybe JP Morgan, Equifax, Marriott, LinkedIn, Facebook, eBay, Microsoft, Adobe, Yahoo, Home Depot, just to name a few. So do you recognize any of those names? Well, they have all had data breaches. Okay, that's huge. Every single one of them had data breaches in the past, okay? So here's some questions that you can ask someone to open conversation, kind of conversation starters about identity theft protection. So, you know, it's kind of sometimes like, what do I say? So these are questions you can ask. Have you ever heard about all the data breaches and identity information being stolen or compromised lately? That could be something that you can see and kind of see where that goes. Do you or anyone in your household ever shop online? How about, do the kids do online gaming? Because that's opening their stuff up. How about, do you or anyone in the household use social media? I think that's like almost everybody, right? Do you have your retirement portfolio secure? That's the thing. You worked so hard to build it up. Is it secure? Were you impacted by one of the largest data breaches in 2017 where 147 million people were impacted by the Equifax breach? I know myself and my husband were compromised. So a shortcut, if you just go to the web browser, type in myidsil.com, it will take you directly to the Equifax page, and you can put in your information to see if you were breached. The case has been closed because they were doing a settlement, a huge settlement went out and all that. That has been closed. However, you can still determine whether or not somebody was compromised back in 2017. So when I find that out, because kind of last resort, and if I see they've been compromised, I'm, oh my gosh, you've been exposed. Do you know what that means? That means your information's out there. It's compromised. And that means they could be selling in the dark web. There's, you know, thousands of dark webs out there. You just don't even know. It's a matter of, it's going to happen to you. So it's not a matter of if, rather it's a matter of when your information will be stolen or compromised if it hasn't already been, right? That's super, super important. So now I will show you some of this is in your back office. These are, I would say, go in your back office, print this out, all the features that offered to the different plans available to IDSIL and the IDSIL Protect. It's so important you have a basic knowledge. So when somebody asks, well, what does it cover? Like, well, my bank does that. Well, okay, well, does your bank do all this? Because I know they don't. So this goes through, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, and does a side-by-side comparison with some other reputable name identity theft protection companies. This is the Platinum. This is for the adult plans and what it covers, so the credit bureaus, the alerts, monitoring, the privacy tips. Here's what the IDSIL Protect does. So these are some big things that it also was an added feature that came along with IDSIL. And then here's the family plan. This is a new option for people that do sign on for the very first time. They can choose the family plan. And then this goes through that, and there's the price difference. And then of course, all the different features that is covered, okay? And then how are kids protected? It talks about that because kids, actually, believe it or not, kids and elderly are more susceptible than anybody, okay? Just so you know. So now finally, look in the notes. I've circled kind of like where you're gonna find this on the YouTube channel. You're gonna find, you wanna look at the IDSIL Center cheat sheet notes that I created. So when somebody signs up for IDSIL, I always send this to them via email. And this is basically something that I created that if somebody changes their credit card, maybe they want to pull a credit report, they don't know where to go. This literally tells them exactly where to go and where to find, where to go and where to add things, okay? I also have a video on YouTube to send to people. So actually it's a document. This is also a document, a Google Doc. It has all the YouTubes of different stories of people, somebody who's been compromised. There's some ACN stuff that's in your back office, actually, ACN stories, but also other stuff from 2020 or from like news and things like that of different individuals who have their information compromised that you can use and send to people. And then IDSIL and IDSIL Protect information That is just a cheat sheet that's for you to kind of go through and learn a little bit more about. And then I also have a YouTube that I created that when, I think it was in June or July, ACN announced that IDSIL was going to give the ability to now where you can track your 401k, 457, your retirement plans, as well as add your credit cards or your debit cards, things like that. And you can monitor every single transaction. So you could set it. So for example, if it goes below, I don't know, $50, your account goes below $50, you can be notified. If a transaction over $50 occurs, you want to be notified. So anything like that, you can set the dollar amount and it will notify you. Okay, so you get an alert on that. So that I created, whether somebody does it on their desktop or their smartphone, it's two different ways of doing it. And I created that. So that's something that you can also access and send to people. So hope this information was helpful. As always, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. All right. So, and again, going back here, here's the documents. Here's the cheat sheet. I think I may have talked about this on a call before, but this right here, I always send to my new IDSIL customers. So it kind of gives them a cheat sheet, like, you know, this right here, where to find things, a description and where to find it. So I send this to them. I created this. I actually just modified it because we have new features. And so I did that. So you guys have access to this now. Okay. And then right here, this is the real life stories to share with people. This is something I comprised. I spent a lot of time going on YouTube, finding some great stories. Equifax breach. These are not necessarily IDSIL related people. These are real life stories of people. And so you can kind of relate it. Watch some of these YouTubes. They're pretty scary, but honestly, it actually got me some customers just sending some of these stories because I think it kind of scared them to like, wow, this is for real. This is actually really happening. And then here's my notes again that I created for IDSIL Protect. And basically it's just a little cheat sheet for IBOs. And then right here, here's the step-by-step. This is for adding, this is something that I had done previously whenever in June, I think it was, that they did the add-on for that, and it's on desktop or through smartphone, and this, or smartphone, and that's a YouTube. So I think that's it. So I just wanted to, let me stop sharing here real quick. All right, so that was it. I mean, this is the beginning. I actually am working on, so when I do my call again, the next video that I'm going to do is going to be common objections, what people will say and why. Okay, so I want a new IBO to see this, because to me, it's kind of like that theme in the book that I was reading. It made so much sense about these Jehovah's Witnesses, and they teach the people right away what to expect when they go knock on the door. Because what happens is if they get the door slammed or they, cursed out or whatever, if they're not prepared mentally for it, they're going to quit. They know this. So they mentally prepare these young kids beforehand when they go knock on the door. This is what may happen, and here's why it may happen. So I feel the same way with new IBOs is, hey, you know what, here's what you're going to probably hear people say sometimes, oh, it's a pyramid or whatever, but here's why. Let me explain why. And so that's another video that I'm gonna be creating on the YouTube channel. And as you can see, I numbered it like you Zoom training, short 101 or 301, IDSIL 201. The other one's gonna be 101. So I can always reference them to say, go watch 101, go watch 201, go watch 301. I'm always gonna be able to, so we're gonna keep building to this YouTube channel to help our team grow, or whoever grow. What do you say to a business owner? Whatever it is, because that's the idea, but I'm going to try to make it as short as possible. I don't want to be too descriptive, because that's what ACN is there for. They have amazing in-depth training. I want to keep it short and sweet, but to the point. So that's going to be the goal for the next, for as long as I can, because I'm sure there's going to be new things that come and so forth, but that's going to be, is to leverage our efforts as leaders. So hope you guys got some good information on tonight's call. And, if you guys have other ideas, maybe some things that you find you have a lot of questions on, something that you feel like my IBOs keep asking this over and over, maybe you could do a training on that. Give me some ideas, shoot me a text or whatever, and we will be proactive, because we've been in the industry long, but maybe there's certain things that we might not think of offhand, and we can work on that and creating something that we can put on that YouTube channel again and reference, video 401, how to do blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So that's going to be the goal. But I would definitely say you give us ideas, but you also tell us some things that you can do as far as what you would say too. So it's not just, hey, do the work, but hey, maybe you can add this. Give us some suggestions too, okay? All right, and then for the ProTac, okay, so let me go back then. If you want to know the video, the YouTube channel real quick,
Can you put it in?
I'll put it in the chat. I'm gonna put the links in the chat right now. So let me do that. So that way you guys have the links for both of them. For the ID seal and for the energy. So you guys can just click on that and you'll have access to all those documents and YouTubes, okay? So let me do that real quick. Let me go into my videos and let me do that for each one right now. So you have that in the notes and then just do a screenshot. So this is for the Zoom. Let me copy. Okay, and then here is, let me go in the notes. This is
Right there. Wait.
paste.
Wait, click on.
Oh, to everybody. Okay, so this one is everyone in meeting.
Put up what it's for.
Okay, so that one is for Zoom. Okay, and then the next one, let me do that one was for the ID seal. Let me go back to that one to ID seal real quick here, ID seal. And then copy. And this is for ID seal. Okay, so do a screenshot of these and then you guys should have access to do that to everybody.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so there you guys go. Do a screenshot. You have that, all the tools and all that resources. And as I do more, I will definitely include more resources. So you guys, hope you got a lot out of tonight. Again, give me some suggestions. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy your weekend and get busy. We're going right now. We're at how many customers this month? We're
11.
at 11 so far. Yeah, we want to go for $1,000. So we're like on it right now. Yeah, we are just going customers right now. That's our focus. Of course, we show the business too, in the process, but that's our focus right now. So we're doing really, really good. So stay focused. If you're at a benchmark, go for the next one. Don't just for the 5 customers, go for the 3, go for another 3. Keep going.
And the big one, guys, here in California, if you don't live here, you don't have to. If nobody have family here, find out if they're in the PG&E market. If they are, our natural gas is 77 cents per therm cheaper.
And businesses. So right
And
now,
businesses.
Chris is going to be going to 3 to 5 businesses a day
Don't tell her.
for businesses. Leading with that, of course, talking about business, how, hey, you can make money on your own service because even businesses were cheaper. So that's
And the
huge.
SoCal market too. The SoCal market really crushed a lot of people. They went from $1.03 or $1.04 a therm to $3.45 a therm.
That was in January. Now they're $1.10. They're back to $1.10 for
but
February.
ours for February is 85 cents a therm, I think. So you've got it in your plate.
And you do get, just so you know, for SoCal, I believe SDG&E as well as PG&E, you get 1 complimentary change. So this is something I heard from, learned from Heather Perry. I don't think she's on the call, but thank you so much, Heather. Give her credit. But I did verify with Zoom that, and you might want to check your markets as well. It might be the same for every market out there. When they have a lock-in, they have 1 complimentary. So say, for example, they lock in at 66 cents a therm. Say it drops in summertime to 50 cents. They can call Zoom and say, hey, I want to take advantage, use my one-time complimentary switch up, and they can go to the 50-cent therm and lock in at 24 months or 12 months or whatever it is. So keep that in mind. So then they feel less like tied down. So I tell and that gets them excited and more willing to sign up as well.